Hi guys, time for English now. More diagramming. I know you guys are excited. I think it seems to be pretty easy, but every lesson that we do, we add on another part of speech. And today's going to there's going to be a few sentences where you have to put some of them together. So today's going to be about adverbs. And we've recently talked about adverbs. You recently had a test on adverbs. We had talked about adjectives yesterday and possessives yesterday. Adjectives describe the noun. Adverbs describe the verb. Remember, we talked about words like she walked quietly or he laughed loudly. Loudly and quietly are all words that describe the verb. So, when we diagram our sentences today, not all of them, most of them are going to have the line underneath the predicate because adverbs describe verbs, and the word predicate is just a fancy word for verb. So, sentences like in the book, we have Juan hummed loudly. So, what is that going to look like? I'm going to draw it out for you guys. You've got the subject, you've got the predicate, and you've got an adverb. So, Juan hummed loudly. Juan, that's your subject. It's a person's name. What is Juan doing? He hummed. The word they used, hummed. How did he hum? Remember, those were questions that we asked when we learned about adverbs. He hummed loudly. Okay? So, when you're putting the adverbs in your sentence, in your diagram, it's going to go under the verb. So, exercise 1, I usually do exercise 1 with you. I'm going to do it right now. Get my board ready. There's 2 sentences. Clara paints. Okay, there's your subject. It's a person's name. Clara, what is she doing? She paints. And then the word they put up there is beautifully. Get my blue marker. Beautifully is what type of part of speech? It's an adverb. So where's it going to go? Underneath the predicate, underneath the verb. Clara paints beautifully. Big word. Gotta have room for that. The whole thing. Almost didn't have enough room. Okay, there's number 1. Number 2, we have Neil runs. Horizontal line, vertical line. Neil. And what's the predicate? He runs. Okay, the word they put next to the number is fast. How does Neil run? He runs fast. So, fast describes run or runs. So that's how it goes. Okay, now exercise 2. There's actually 3. There's actually 2 more in exercise 1. Let's do those together too. Why don't we? If you're copying these in your journal, you're more than welcome to, but remember, we usually don't do exercise 1 together. We usually do this one out loud. So I'm doing it for you so you're understanding. So you draw your horizontal line first, which is the side to side. You draw your vertical line next. So sentence 3 is Tom sang. Okay? The word they have next to the number is yesterday. When did Tom sing? He sang yesterday. Yesterday's an adverb, so it's going to go under the verb because adverbs describe verbs. Okay? Then number 4, you have Serena. There's a name we recognize. Serena acted. And then they gave us a word to add to our diagram. They gave us the word bravely. How did she act? She acted bravely. So bravely is going to go underneath the verb or predicate because it's an adverb. Okay, now exercise 2. Before you get started, you guys are going to get started, then you're going to get towards the bottom of the exercise and you're going to realize something. Wait a minute, Miss Dickey, or whoever's sitting there with you. Some of these sentences have 4 words. okay? They added a the, or they added a possessive. So what they started to do in this lesson is they've started to combine the lessons you already know. So you might have a sentence that is going to have a subject and a predicate. All sentences do. You might have a sentence with an adjective or a possessive and an adverb. So you might have some sentences, you've already learned it, that are going to have a diagonal line underneath the noun and the verb. Be very careful. They're not all going to have 3 words. Start adding the stuff that maybe you learned yesterday. Diagram them correctly. You might have a few with an article, a possessive. It could be a color that's an adjective, and an adverb. So when you're doing those, be mindful of what you learned yesterday. Same thing goes from your homework. It's 15 sentences, but they're starting to put all of the lessons together. All right, guys? Have fun diagramming.